First, though, to the president, touting tariffs, arguing they will help to pay down our debt. That was his argument over the weekend. It all comes while U.S. profits have jumped an estimated 23.5% in the 3 months ending in June for S&P 500 companies. So to put it all together for us today, let's start with the Fox Business Network senior correspondent, Charlie Gasparino. Makes him sound old, doesn't it? Women's Forum Board of Directors, Nan Hayworth, the former Congresswoman, and the Fox Business Network's Deirdre Bolton. So that's it. So very hello, senior. On profits, Deirdre, let me start with you, and then we're going to get back and we'll talk about trade, because I think some of the president's tweeting was interesting over the weekend. But if you look at things here Monday in August and take out the trade concerns, things look great here for some of these companies,
as far as corporate earnings go, I mean, we've seen profits just exceeding expectations. If you look quarter on quarter, close to 24%. If you look at revenue, it's better than 9%. So we're actually on track to see the best earnings quarter since one of the quarters in 2008.
Right.
So super solid. And I think what's also notable is it's across all industries, right? It's energy, it's financial, it's tech. Of course, last week we talked a lot about Apple hitting $1 trillion in market cap.
Another all-time high today.
Exactly. So we're seeing strength really across all industries. So as far as earnings go, no complaints. The only little grumble you hear sometimes people say is, oh, well, a lot of that was pushed on by the corporate tax cut, which may be like a sugar high. And maybe, but that said, if you're paying 21% on corporate taxes as opposed to 35%.
Nan's shaking her head. She doesn't think it's going to fade. We'll come back to that in a second. But I do want to talk about the president's tweeting on trade, Charlie.
What did he say? Give me exactly what he said.
Tariffs working big time was a quote in one of the tweets.
What's the other one?
And then he talked about
that was even dumber than that one.
The idea of the tariffs being used to pay down our debt, when I think we all know that really those
it's a cross-category issue.
Are a tax on consumers.
I mean, the economy looks really good. I mean, you would think the president would talk about that instead of some of this stuff. This stuff is illogical. I mean, listen, let's be fair here. Or not fair. Let's put it all in context. A couple years ago, the enemies of the people were the terrorists, not the journalists.
Right.
Now, journalists are enemies of the people. Tariffs will help pay down the debt, which makes absolutely no economic sense. Again, a non sequitur to top the other non sequitur. My point is that you have to sort of delineate or try to delineate what this guy says, which is often absurd about the economy, and
from what's actually happening,
from what he actually does. And I think that is now. I have a lot of friends in the business, journalism business, that are telling me, how can you do that? He's the president. If he's saying these things, it must reflect in policy. It really hasn't yet. Now, it might.
In some areas, you're right.
But it does. You were out in Texas, and there are places where it's starting to hit, like in some of those industries that are affected.
Well, we were talking about the oil business last weekend, and that's a place where things are absolutely booming, Nan. But those guys that I was on that rig with last week, they said, the tariffs are an issue for us, but they described it as kind of a nuisance. It's raising their costs, but the economy's so strong that they can withstand that nuisance for now. We're hearing that from a lot of people, that things are so good that things that ordinarily would be bothering us more are maybe not bothering us as much. What do you think?
Well, I think that's true. Look, the president's deregulated from day one. The tax cuts, of course, came along about a year later. Those are powerful stimulus for business, as Deirdre was pointing out, and they are. To Charles's point, I agree. The president wages a rhetorical war. There's no question about it.
It's not rhetorical. It's rhetorical actually has an impact. It makes no sense.
No, Charles, I understand.
Well, do you agree with that, Nan?
It's not meaningless.
Tariff talk and the idea of paying down our debt using tariffs is nonsensical.
I think the president is helping us to have a healthier way to approach deficits and debt. I don't view tariffs
going up.
But I don't view because we don't have a majority, controlling majority of GOP in the Senate. We can talk about that. Well, because the president wanted to fund our military, and in order to get that passed, we had to give the Democrats a lot of social spending.
Hold it.
That's true.
Here's what's true, Nan. This president did almost nothing for deficit control. He never campaigned on it. He never addressed it. He never submitted a budget that took it on.
The healthy way, Mick Mulvaney is a strong budget cutter, but he's up against a lot of different forces, and the healthy way to attach debts and deficit is to deregulate, cut taxes, and grow revenue streams, which is what he's done.
Dan, you can't sit here and say that Donald Trump has ever been a deficit hawk. He's totally the opposite.
Charles, I'm not calling him a deficit hawk, but what I'm saying is the healthy way to increase revenue streams without confiscating more from the American people, we increase revenue streams by deregulating and cutting taxes. He is doing that.
Okay, let me reel this back a little bit and get back to the trade issue for a second. China, through their state media, slammed the president for what they described as extortion. And the Chinese market, you see our market since the election, how well it's been doing. The Chinese market has been slumping. So that on this trade war issue brings us to the idea, I was talking to Nan a second ago, we can kind of withstand some of this. And the argument is that the Chinese cannot, but they haven't blinked yet. What do you think happens here?
They haven't blinked yet, but we are seeing at least a shift in language. I mean, they've, in the past, not really attacked President Trump personally. That changed, right? We saw, I'm going to just actually quote, they say he's doing Street Fighter style deceitful drama, these are all in quotes, of extortion and intimidation, and saying, in essence, that the U.S. has put itself and China into a zero-sum game. And, I mean, they're attacking him personally in a way that they haven't before. So I do think this is getting ratcheted up a little bit.
Right.
And to the extent that they can withstand, I'm not so sure. I mean, we've talked about our consumer class rate, which is 2/3 of our GDP. They don't have that same strength. We consume 80% of what we produce. We are a little bit more isolated. And no, their economy, long before this trade tiff, was actually showing signs. I mean, they're even doing things like telling people they can't move too much money around beyond 20%. I mean, they're actually trying to...
But what do they have as a hammer to make them change policy? I mean, would you essentially have... Listen, I'm not saying they want prolonged economic calamity there, and it's not really economic calamity right now. They're having a mild... I don't even know if they're having a recession. I think they still have positive GDP growth, right? Yeah. Plenty of positive.
But it's way down from
what it was. But it's way down. But they need faster growth to supply, to basically bring there's a lot of poor people in China.
Yes, there are a lot of everything in China.
However, what is the thing that puts the hammer to U.S. politicians on policy? It's elections. We're going to have an election in a couple of months.
Right, which China doesn't really have to worry about.
Xi Jinping wants to stay for life.
He is president for life. Now, that said, I think it's obviously like absurd that the Chinese would call us out on anything given their record. But the
takes
Trump,
one to know one.
It takes one to know one, right? But the Trump administration has not really done a concerted effort against China in a way that might isolate them. They've gotten out of TPP. They've isolated our European trading partners. He's going after Mexico and Canada on small stuff. And, you know, the whole notion of if you identified one bad actor in the world, it's China. If you can,
everybody could agree.
Everybody could,
right? But not everybody working together to go after them.
It's not even that. He's working against everybody.